Where is the cacao? Oh, this is it?
Yeah, she didn't stand it all out. I need to get down.
Okay.
Hey, Rena. We have to wait till like.
You lie now. But we hired another person, so. But she knows she can do all the stuff that I don't want to do anymore. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. We're gonna wait 2 more minutes. Just 2 minutes. It's right. Oh man, she had it just right. I just messed it up. It's on here. Yeah, you get it? Sure. Thank you. Oh, they're in there. Everything's in there. Me. Hi, Greg Frog, what? Okay. What? Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm so good. Evening, everybody. I feel like I don't need this with we're good though. Hi. Are you sweating? Yeah. We were talking about like, is it too late to cancel? We just all go play outside. Did you all get outside to go? Yes. Oh my God, so nice. It was so nice. I got off work a little early, so I was able to go walking in the woods. And I was like, I should probably go home and cut up that cacao and serve it. Hi, go ahead. Well, so welcome to Tend to Your Temple. We've done this. This is our 5th time to do this. It's so fun. Yeah. So many of you have been here for all of them. So tonight we're going to talk about lightening the load, cleaning up the cells, opening up detox processes. We talked about detox and digestion in the fall, but we're gonna everyone's kind of got this desire to like do a reset or do a cleanse, and like we want to talk about it. And when we talk about cleanses, we're not just talking about Kiki was right. We're not just talking about eating good foods and taking supplements and doing diets. We're talking about like really letting go of the stuff that we don't need anymore on an emotional, energetic, mental level too. Okay, let me make sure this is all good. All good. People are, they're like, I can't make it. Can you record it? Yes, I can. But I used to say no, I can't, because I'm a Luddite a little bit. So we have cacao going around. Remember, cacao is this medicine of heart opening. It helps to ground you. It helps you to be courageous in connecting with others. It helps to build intimacy. So the ingredients in it, and someone asked for the recipe. If you're on the newsletter, I'll send it out on the next one. But it's cacao and coconut milk, coconut oil, cinnamon, sea salt, maple syrup, and it's covered in rose petals. You like it? Okay, good. Yeah, good. I did just learn that cacao has lots of tannins, and I knew that, but then it interferes with iron absorption. So I'm like, maybe that's why I have an anemia problem. So I'm just, full disclosure, and it's nothing is free, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 deep breaths together. If you've been before, you know this is what we do. Oh yeah, all sorts of stuff. Okay, we don't have Soul Cafe tonight. That's obvious. So thank you for bringing water. If you didn't bring water, there's a water dispenser back there. You can fill up a bottle for your table, and there's some glasses. And we're grateful that Traditions lets us use this space. And we are grateful to be on this land of Sage House people. And I'm really grateful for this community. I mean, you just keep coming, and you're curious, and we're excited, and we're like taking it back over, like the world. Not just like, I mean, slowly, subtly in our softness. So let's gather together. Okay, 3 deep breaths. And you close your eyes if you'd like to, but deep breaths in through the nose. Receiving, exhale out through the mouth. Into the nose. Integration. Out through the mouth. This one, really let go. Okay, really let go and push all out in through the nose. Expansion and blow out. Right, we can, right? Do what we want. Okay, so spring cleaning at a cellular level. If you didn't get a hand up when you came, who said that? Who did that? Thank you. Oh, thanks, Kathleen. Schwitzing a little bit. It's warm. It's like muggy. So spring cleaning at a cellular level. We want to lighten the load on the body all the time. And this is what we're trying to do. Every single day we are running these detox processes in the liver, in the kidneys, in the lymph, in the gut, in the skin. We are trying to detox the way that excuse me, rose petal. The detox the way that we're interfacing with the world. How often you can say that? Not very often.
You want some water?
I'm good, thank you, I'm good. Thanks though. Thanks for taking it. It takes a village, So we're trying to process everything that we're taking in the world and eliminate it efficiently without sacrifice in the body. And so when we start to see signs of disease, or we start to slow down, or we have weight gain, or we have hormonal imbalances, it usually means that the system's overloaded. If you have skin eruptions, rashes, eczema, any sort of autoimmune presentation, this means that we are overloaded. It's an input-output game. And so there is this temptation to, you feel it, right? You're like, oh my gosh, just need a reset. Or you go on a cruise, or you go on a trip, or you go visit family in deep south, and you come back and you're like, it's time to lighten the load. You feel that, right? That's one of the reasons that a lot of you are here. It's like, it's time for a reset. No one's nodding. Okay, yes, I'm gonna okay, good. And I think it's important, and we're doing it tonight. We're going to talk about 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 10 day, 14 day resets. But it's really important to remember that detox is an all day, every day process. And it's happening at the site. The main area where we get kind of hung up is in the liver. And we're talking about the way that things move from phase 1, liver detoxification, into phase 2. And this is really where we get stuck. So everything that we encounter has to get broken down and ushered out of the body as a water soluble metabolite. What that means is that it has to bind to other things to get out. And usually there's something getting in the way. Either we've overloaded the system and we don't have enough stuff to bind to it to get out, or we don't have enough of the stuff to help it get out. So things like magnesium, N-acetylcysteine, glutathione. Those words sound familiar to people? Magnesium, selenium. Okay. Those are all super important nutrients that help your body clear waste. But if you are overloading your system with alcohol, stress, environmental toxins, and chemicals, then you don't have enough of these magnesium, glutathione, and acetylcysteine to clear it all out. So sometimes you just need to very intentionally pause and consciously reduce the load. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we know cultures all around the world, purification of the body purifies the spirit. When we lighten the load on the physical body, we have greater access to our minds and to the truth of our hearts. And you feel it, right? Like when you do a detox and you're at the end of it, your mind is still clear. Who's done a detox or like a cleanse or yeah. Your brain feels clear afterwards, right? Not only does your gut get a rest, but you're like, your skin is brighter and you can focus better and you're happier, except for day 3 and 4, right? You're not very nice. Not very nice. That day 6 or whatever, when you're back on your food, you're like, yeah, food is just really good, you remember, like your niceness. I like to use the words renewal, revival, and then really dropping what no longer serves us, really to grow into the person you're meant to be. My whole deal, the whole reason we do this is so that you can feel amazing in your body. I care. My mission is to make you feel strong and empowered so you can go do your good work in the world. That's the whole deal. Like, if we're going to turn this around, I know I say this all the time, but if we're going to turn this around, each one of us has to step into our power, like our greatest potency. And we can only do that if our cells are churning, if we're making ATP really efficiently, if we're not stuck in bed with, fatigue and body aches, and if we have brain fog and we can't access our creativity, that does not serve the world. And I'm not trying to be like a hard ass or anything, but I'm just saying we can't do it if we're not feeling good in our bodies. And so this is the whole point of Tend to Your Temple. Tonight specifically, we're really talking about like sweeping it out, and you sweep on a regular basis, right? That's like the daily detox processes that are happening. What we're talking about is like washing the baseboards, getting out and doing the windows, the deep cleaning stuff that you have to do intermittently, but you definitely don't do all the time. So I get excited about it. I love intermittent cleansing, but the older I get, the less I love it. Do you notice that too? It's harder as years go by. And a lot of that has to do with the cortisol that you're pumping out. So when you start to restrict foods, your body goes into this hypervigilant fight flight mode. So you start to take out sugar and your body's like, sugar made me calm. Sugar soothed me. Sugar distracted me. And so one of the things that I really want to focus on when we're doing these kinds of detoxes is managing that cortisol level. So please don't try to do these things when you're like super busy and you have to like speak in front of people, or you have a big deadline or a project due, or your kids have lots of different things going on, or if you're traveling. You do these kinds of things like when you can be quiet, calm, and still. And that's why you have to make the empowered decision for yourself. What am I capable of? Can I just do one day? It's great. You can just do one day where you just lighten the load on the body. It's awesome. If you can commit to a long weekend and do 3 days, great. Just do 3 days. If you can, get in stillness and quiet and do prolon, which we're going to talk about, for 5 days, that's awesome too. Like, make sure people aren't around you because, it's dangerous. And then a 10 or 14 day with assistance from like certain foods, medical foods, and supplements can be really helpful. I know I talk about the Whole30 anti-inflammatory diet, and that is really helpful. If you don't want to do a detox, but you want to lighten the load on the system, you can just do Whole30 anti-inflammatory diet, where you're eating plenty of protein and lots of starches, but you're not restricting the amount of food. When we're trying to lighten the load on the body, we're cleansing, we're really lightening the amount of food that you eat so that your digestive processes are freed up and your liver's freed up to clear toxins out of the body, not digest the food. So before we get started, and just jump right in, does anybody have questions or things you really want to make sure we hit tonight? No? Okay. You're all just like, I trust you, Allison. Just go. Just keep talking. Do we need anything before we move on? Is everybody cool enough? I mean, I am not, but are you good? The draft, you all moved. You're good. Okay. I would like the door to stay open, so that's okay. All right. So here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to stress out about chemicals in the environment. We're not going to stress out about plastics. We're not going to stress out about toxins in the water. We're not going to preoccupy ourselves with the depletion of the nutrients in our soil. We're not going to overwhelm our systems with how dirty the world is. Okay? Raina's like, thank you. We know it's dirty. We know it's bad out there. Like, don't stress out about that. Remember, your energy is going to go where you focus, right? So do not focus on that. You focus on you. What can you control? This thing. This beautiful thing, you can control it. You can control the food you put in it. You can control how you perceive stress. That one's a little harder. You can control how much you move to some degree. You can't control this nonsense. So don't stress about it. And don't, we can do that, especially in like the healthcare field, like the wellness industry. It's just all about pure, everything pure and clean, and I get it. And I can be a real stickler, super bossy about food. And but you can't, like, I don't want you wigging out when you're going down the detergent aisle and you're completely overwhelmed by the scents. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a headache for the rest of the day. You're gonna have a headache for the rest of the day if you think you're gonna have a headache for the rest of the day. You know, that's gonna happen. So go through the detergent aisle and then just go outside and bounce around and make sure you take a magnesium bath, or just know what to do. Know what to do to clear the stuff, but do not stress out about it. So did I offend anybody? Did I trigger anybody? Are you all just so grateful? Grateful. Okay, good. What we're gonna do is up-level our cellular detox processes to efficiently rid our bodies of the stuff, can't write other things, so that we can live free in our temples, and that's the whole deal. We wanna live free in our temples. We wanna move well, we wanna go hike mountains, we wanna play with our grandbabies. We wanna be able to do a squat on the ground and be able to get up from it. And the way that we do that is by churning your metabolism. We wanna increase metabolism, so we increase cellular healing. So again, we're lightening the load. So when the load gets heavy, when you overload the system and you create more oxidative stress, we talked about that last time, you create free radicals in the body, that is gonna slow everything down. Because now your body is worried, or not worried, your body, maybe your body doesn't worry, your body is tasked with detoxing all this stuff. And it's not actually surveying the rest of your body and cleaning things up and churning and making more ATP. So this is an emotional thing too. So I'm just giving you like the brass tacks of it, but when it's time to implement this, you have to face yourself. Like, you really have to come face to face with like your addictions, and that's what they are. They're addictions, and it's okay, it's not a bad word. Your preoccupations, the way that we distract ourselves. And you just have to say, how much do I love myself? Like, really, the foundations we talk about, self-love and self-prioritization, are the very top. So remember, self-prioritization is self-love in action. You can say you love yourself, I mean, and we do. But if you prioritize self, then that's actually putting the pedal to the metal, rubber on the road. And that's a different feeling. It's a totally different feeling. And you notice it. Like, you can sit in your home and you can meditate, I love myself. But when it's happening, when you're actually putting yourself first, it's an embodied feeling, right? When you make a conscious choice to not eat a certain thing, or to not drink a certain thing, or when you set a really good boundary with a friend or in a relationship, that is taking all your power and potency back for yourself. It's bringing all these little things in that you want for you, and it's like clipping all the little things off that you don't need. That includes gluten-free crackers and oat milk, for any of you who saw this little video.
I want to know more about that.
Yeah. Don't drink oat milk. I'm so serious, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, the stress will eat us alive if we let it. So 95% of all chronic conditions that people present with in the clinic are related to stress. And it's not like, oh, stress is the problem. It's because our nervous systems are dysregulated. So the nervous system regulates the immune system, the digestive system, your endocrine system. So if you are stuck in fight flight all the time, then you're not going to produce the hormones that you need. If you're producing tons of cortisol, you're not going to produce progesterone. If you are overloading on DHEA, it's not going to convert over to estrogen and testosterone. So you're going to be surviving on adrenal hormones, stress hormones alone, and not producing these other things. We want you out of that state. We want to be chill and soft, not all the time. You don't have to be chill and soft all the time. We want you to be fierce and like get after it. But we want you to be in your softness, in this allowance, in this receiving. That is that parasympathetic rest, digest, arouse, reproduce, allow state. And that's when your mitochondria are like, oh yeah, like I know what to do here. And so they're free and they are just, again, churning. Okay? You got it? Live, be, choose wisely, consciously, empowered, and embodied. And then I put a note on here, like, be light. Don't be so serious. Life's too short. Don't get your panties in a bunch, be free, have fun, levity, like make jokes, watch comedy. We need you laughing and in your rest digest state. I mean, I know that I said this before, but the Dalai Lama said that the Western woman is going to change the world, and she is. It's the woman on fire, and it's the woman who's having fun, like who's in her creativity, and she's playing, and she's childlike. That's divine feminine, right? Playfulness. So play. Be so serious. Be serious when you need to be serious. When you don't need to be serious, like, don't be serious. mean, just in notice, seriously, yeah. Okay, so what happens? So processes of biotransformation eliminate toxic metabolites out of the system. So we just want to really open up those pathways. So if you're not pooping every day, you got to poop every day. So if you have been a client or patient of mine, you better be on magnesium. That's all I gotta say. So magnesium can really help to open up those pathways. It's not the solution. We ultimately want your gut to get stool out without being dependent on magnesium, but most people are deficient, like 90 to 95% of us. So I always say there's no such thing as a Miralax deficiency, but most people have a magnesium deficiency. So if you're dependent on Miralax or stool softeners, try a magnesium ramp up. That's step number one. If you're not pooping, if your liver's dumping a bunch of stuff and you're not pooping, you're gonna not feel good when you detox. So make sure that you are a sweater. If you're not a sweater, you need to be practicing sweating. Before you do any sort of detox, you need to work up to sweating. So if anybody, like, and you don't have to raise your hand, but if you get in the sauna and it takes you forever to sweat, then there's a good chance that you've got those detox, that your skin and your lip are a little congested. So you got to work up to getting a good sweat on. Again, we want those processes open before you start dumping a bunch of stuff from your liver. Kidneys, make sure you're drinking plenty of water if you're going to detox or cleanse. If you start dumping stuff and then you actually aren't peeing it out, everything is connected to your bloodstream. This is the reason that we want the lymph to be open, the skin to be open, the gut. Everything is connected to your blood vessels. So if it's not getting out through these pathways, it's going to go right back into the bloodstream. And that's when we get sick. That's when we get inflammation. That's when it has to go back through the liver. And the liver's like, oh my God, I already did this. You brought this back to me. I sent it out. You brought it back. Like the liver's like kind of, and the liver in in Chinese medicine is a seat of anger and frustration. Liver's like pissed. Like, please just poop every day so you can get this out of here. Okay. What? Brown banana poops. Bristol number 4s is what we call them, Kiki. Yeah, Bristol number 4s. It's a Bristol scale. And 1s are like rabbit pellets and 7s are like liquid stool. And so we are looking for that little Bristol number 4. If you need a chart to put for your, like if your children, if you're trying to teach them, like, because I mean, if you have kids and you really want to take a look at their poop, by the way. Like you really want to make sure, catch it now so that they don't grow up with a bunch of food allergies and health problems and, they get older and like, Mom, you never even once asked me about my poop. Like you're gonna ask them about their poop, right? Put the Bristol stool chart on the bathroom, on the wall. I mean, it's true, if you're not having if you're having these rabbit pellet stools, you're dehydrated or there's some sort of food allergy going on. If you have these 7s, these loose stools, and then they're liquidy and watery, then there may be some dysbiosis or like a bacterial overgrowth in the gut or a lack of probiotics. The goal is to reduce inflammation, to reduce the amount of phase 2 biotransformation that has to happen. So again, if you are super inflamed, that you're going to be blowing through magnesium, selenium, N-acetylcysteine, glutathione, all these things in phase 2. So unless you're supplementing with them, guaranteed you're not clearing stuff out. And how that manifests in the body is going to be inflammation, joint pain, weight gain, lymph congestion. And so if you touch, like, and everybody can try this themselves, like look at your elbow right here, there's this thing called the epitrochlear node. So it's this little node, you touch your elbow and then come back about 1 finger breadth and dig in there. Anybody got a soft spot? Yeah. So that's just one spot. And then there's another one like right behind your knee, medial knee, just right where your like meniscus is, and then come in and up a little bit. It's really tender. So these are fibromyalgia points. This is lymph congestion, very simply. And so one thing you can do to kind of just move that, it just means it's stuck there. Just slap some castor oil on it. Castor oil penetrates really deeply and it moves things. So it'll help move waste out of the body. But those are signs that you've got congested lymph. So if you got little tender spots, like let's get it moving. So, for the vibration plates and bouncing and rebounders and things like that, that's actually really good. Dry skin brushing, get those pathways open. Okay. Antioxidants help to reduce these free radicals. So the things that actually really help with these in this phase 2 are going to be like vitamin C, again, glutathione. Has anyone used glutathione? Yeah. And then did you use it successfully? Did it feel okay in your body? Yeah. Some people do really well with it. They're like, oh my gosh, this is the ticket. This is the best stuff ever. And the other half of the population is like, it's the worst thing ever. Like it dumps way too much stuff in my system. I can't actually clear it. So you have to be really careful with a lot of this stuff. Vitamin C is generally safe for everybody, unless you're one of these special people. Again, I can't say everybody, right? We know we can't say everybody. Vitamin C, vitamin E, these are familiar to you as antioxidants, anthocyanins, blueberries and strawberries, dark chocolate and grapes, resveratrol in grapes, these carotenoids and things like carrots and sweet potatoes. So anything that's got tons of color in it is going to have an antioxidant. And so again, those are the things that are going to help to usher things out of the body. That's why we take these things. Everything comes down to like the liver cell. When we pull nutrients back into the bloodstream from the gut, it has to go into these cells in the liver to get broken down into these ways. We either use them or we get rid of them. And this is why food is so important. Because we know that phytochemicals are good for us. We know that, like, phytochemicals being the chemicals from plants. We know that we're supposed to eat vegetables. Like, why? And it's because of the antioxidants and the colors, the antioxidants that we get from the color. I mean, that's where they're coming from, like chlorella, chloroplasts, things like that. Like, I think I've mentioned to you before, the thylakoids that are in green foods act as GLP-1. So these foods are, and you are familiar with that, Ozempic? Okay. These chemicals are so active. So as much color and rainbow as you can get in, the better your phase 2 liver will move through. Okay. Other antioxidants you've probably heard of, coenzyme Q10 and lipoic acid. Everything is a cofactor to kind of crank things along these little gears. And the way that we depict that and we kind of educate about it, they're just little wheels that spin. And it's one chemical reaction and another chemical reaction, another chemical reaction. It just, and on and on and on it goes. And every single one of those little reactions requires these antioxidants, things like CoQ10 and lipoic acid. So another important thing, one of the reasons that we like to do resets and detoxes, it really does help us like establish some better habits. It's like you pull sugar out for 3 days and you're like, wow, I was really hooked. I mean, anybody experienced that before? Just take it out 3 days. It's all it takes. 3 days and you lose the taste for it, you lose the craving for it. And so when you do these things, you want to be so intentional. You want to be doing it on a spiritual level, on a biochemical level. This is why these things are done really well in quiet. I mean, really, if you try to do like, we'll talk about Prolon, but if you try to do that and you have to engage with humans, you just don't get the same benefit out of it because you're muscling through it the whole time. You're like, ugh, and your cortisol's high and your body's in this hyper-vigilant fight-flight mode. You're not getting the benefit of it. So if you can't do 5 days, don't do 5 days. Like, get the most out of it, do 1 day. Any questions so far? Because we're going to go through the types and the benefits. Yeah.
Random, but I keep hearing about Ozempic, and I know you just mentioned it. Are you about Ozempic or what?
I'm pro whatever helps your body to get into balance, as long as it's done like thoughtfully and responsibly. So Ozempic is a GLP-1 agonist, and it basically helps to reset this your satiety hormones, and it stops hunger. This is the big problem. It's gonna suppress hunger, which in some people really need it. We get this thing called leptin resistance in the brain, and we don't respond to satiety hormones the same way, so we will overeat. So sometimes you need a boost, you know, and so I'm not I do not prescribe it because I feel like I've got other ways to tell people to do that. But if they are on it, I push really hard, like get in the gym. You have to lift weights and you have to eat lots of protein. But what happens when people are on these medications is they just kind of stop eating because it does suppress your appetite. So then they don't eat enough. And so we see major muscle loss. And when you lose that muscle, you increase your risk of cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, all kinds of chronic illnesses. Your muscle is like, it's your insurance, you know, like you don't need insulin when you got muscles, you know. And that's true. When you have muscles will actually use glucose independently of the whole insulin process. So the more muscle you have, the healthier you are. So if you're going to do something like that, I know you're not asking for you, but when people are doing this, you got to lift weights. You got to eat protein. You can't just lose the weight. If you lose weight, and we see it, we measure people with the body composition machine. We see people lose skeletal muscle mass all the time. They'll drop 15, 20 pounds, and I can see it. It's water and it's muscle. It's not fat. And we want you losing fat. If you're going to lose weight, you want to lose the right kind of weight. You know what I mean? You want to decrease inflammation. You want to decrease your risk. So all these things we have to be conscious about, but it has its place. There's some incredible imaging where it reduces visceral fat and it actually reduces chronic pain in people. And I think these are the people who are using it thoughtfully and consciously. Yeah, it has to be part of a whole program. Any follow-up questions on that? Okay. Okay, types of cleanses and their benefits. I've done all of these, and I used to do detox retreats. That was so fun. We take people to sweet places like Dobe Resort, and we did one in Mexico once, and we just had in great food and brought yoga instructors like Kiki with us, and it was really great. Did fresh pressed juices and green drink. Should we do another one? Yeah, okay. Somebody find a place, and it has to house all of us, and then we'll do it. And I'll cook, and Chia will cook. I'm volunteering you. Okay, great. So I do like a 1 day reset. I think that's really great. So if you're gonna do 1 day reset, you don't necessarily need to go buy supplements, and you don't need to have powders and potions and things like that. 1 day reset is just to give the gut a break. If you're pressed for time, you can even do this 1 day a week if you're into it. Celery juice is so wonderful for this. Celery juice is super high in electrolytes, and it's wonderful for your gut. We're always trying to work on healing the gut. So it's healing for the stomach lining and it's healing for the intestinal lining. When you start to lose weight, or when you start to release toxins from the cells, you can get dehydrated really easily and you deplete your electrolytes. So when you want to make sure that if you are detoxing, that you're adding electrolytes back in. This is a good way to do it. Another way to do this, if you're going to do 1 day, because if you could just do all fluids. I am not experienced in water fasting. Oh yeah. I'm not prescribing or diagnosing this evening. I am providing information for educational purposes only. If you are going to do any of this stuff, please do this under the guidance of a healthcare practitioner. Except for like drinking bone broth and celery juice, you can do that on your own. But 1 day, if you're just going to do fluids only, that's not just water. I really like doing bone broth and celery juice. If you're vegan, vegetarian, you don't want to do bone broth, you can just do vegetable broth. Or just leave broth out together and just do celery juice. If you're gonna do that, yeah.
What about, I know there's a lot to that, but would that be?
Look at my face. I think so soy can be so inflammatory for so many people. I think if it's for you, if it's okay for you, then I think that it's okay. Because again, it's liquids, it's something lighter, as long as it's easily digestible, it's good miso that's really fermented, not some highly processed package thing that just says miso, and you're like, for you, it's like powdered. No, you want good paste. But the lectins are inflammatory. Lectins are a chemical that are in legumes, and we're really trying to lighten the load on the gut. So even though it's plant-based, we want to get as many inflammatory factors out. And bone broth, you're getting minerals. You're getting a little bit of fat, but you're getting mainly minerals, and we're not getting those inflammatory chemicals. So if you're going to do 1 day, you could just do celery juice, bone broth, roasted dandelion root tea, which is great for the liver. That really helps to move things through that phase 2. And then warm water with lemon. We like warm water with lemon because it helps to thin the bile. And so we didn't talk about bile yet. Having healthy bile is essential for carrying what you've processed and packaged up out of the liver. That's how it gets out. So if your bile is congested, or if it's thick, if you get nausea after eating high fat foods, if you have any diarrhea and you have any biliary issues at all, we want to make sure that we are tending to that before we start detox too. But warm water with lemon, first thing in the morning, celery juice, bone broth throughout the day, more tea in the afternoon, and bone broth at night, and then tea before you go to bed. That's a nice 1 day. That sounds delicious right now, right?
Yeah, so I've done longer cleanses where you kind of soften foods and slowly get into more liquidy, and then you come out of it certain ways. About the 1 day, you just
do liquids.
Your normal life.
Yeah, if you can, you absolutely can. So if you do like a 3 day, we would use food, you can go back to normal life. But listen, I don't want anybody going back to a certain kind of normal life ever. We don't want you going from like a 1 day to doing fast food or fried foods, or to a potluck where you try everything on the table. And the whole thing is like with the assumption that we really, really care about what we're putting in our bodies, and we're generally speaking eating an anti-inflammatory diet, which I have the assumption, and I could be wrong, that most of you eat that way. And I know most of you, and we're all pretty conscious eaters, so I don't think that anybody's gonna go right back to, their favorite carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. I don't know why I thought that's my favorite, but I'm not gonna blow a 1 day reset on a carrot cake, you know what I mean? So
buy your celery juice? Is that no fun?
So it's so fun to make. I don't know what you're
No
talking about.
fun, no.
Okay, so I thank you for bringing that up because I really do want to say I love my juicer. So I borrowed a juicer. I had this Breville juicer for forever. It was super messy. Did not extract enough. It didn't do a good job. I still have it. I don't even know where it is, but I asked Kathleen lent me her juicer, this Acme juicer, and it's old. Like they've been around for forever. It was so easy to clean. It was so good. It whipped the crap out of that celery. So I got all juice and then the pulp was super dry. And then she wanted it back. She was like, oh, celery juice sounds pretty good. So I was like, okay. So I'm gonna go find one. They're all over eBay, 30 bucks. Facebook, Acme Supreme Juicers. They're old school. They were bought by somebody in the 80s and they're sitting on their shelves. And I got one and I am so happy. So it's totally fun, Dodie, every single day. You buy three big, they're stuff, what is a bunch of celery? A bunch, yeah, thanks. So you buy a bunch of celery and then, I have a big tub and I do 3 for the week. And I chop off the ends and I wash it really well. And then I put a towel on the bottom and I store it for the week. And so that I'm ready to go. And I'm just doing like 10 ounces, like 8 to 10 ounces in the morning. And you like just generally, I'm on a celery juice kick. I'm just loving it.
For your meal?
Before my meal. What?
Celery.
Just celery. I don't put lemon. I don't put apple and nothing. Now I love it so much. It's so satisfying. It foams up and it's naturally salty and it's just really, really satisfying. I do my little, 1 packet of 4 Sigmatic mushroom coffee that's only got 50 milligrams of caffeine. Okay, so I'm not like drinking a ton of coffee. Put a splash of my hemp milk or just nothing in it, and then I'll have the celery juice right after. So you can buy prepackaged juices, but if it's pasteurized, you're going to lose a lot of those phytonutrients in it. So that's great. And if you can get it fresh, like today or tomorrow. Yesterday. Yeah, then do that. If somebody's juicing your juice for you. And you know,
Mason jars now, glass mason jars that you can stir up.
so she's talking about Zoe's juice bar, right? Zoe's, yeah. Yeah. It's not organic. Yeah, so it does still have pesticides on it. So then your liver's. We're not stressed about pesticides. I didn't even say that. Well, okay, I said no, we're not gonna stress about chemicals in the environment. I did not say we're not gonna stress about pesticides. Totally stressed about pesticides. They're terrible for you. Glyphosate is ruining the world. No, don't stress out about anything, okay? Ever. Okay, so I like this one day. I mean, it's easy. It's easy. Roasted dandelion root tea, lemon in your water, celery juice and bone broth. And then
How
you can,
often do you do it?
this one day,
Yeah.
not very often, but I mean, I don't know, quarterly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually when I get sick. If I get a cold or something, I'll just be like, okay, I'm throwing bones in the pot, making the celery juice, drinking the lemon and the fire cider, and I'll do that for a day and I feel great afterward. It shouldn't take me getting sick to do it, but it's a great one. And this one I used to do all the time when I had my nutrition practice. Okay, 3 day, any questions about the one day? Yeah.
You actually apple cider vinegar for the lemon juice with warm water.
Yeah. Absolutely. So use apple cider vinegar instead of lemon. And not everybody does well with citrus. And apple cider vinegar is actually really great for your stomach. And this one day is really good for digestion. It's just a good digestive reset. If you're doing celery juice, which is awesome for the stomach, and then you're lightening the load, you're just giving your digestive system a break. Apple cider vinegar is awesome for that. Thank you for that suggestion. A 3 day. So most of us are perimenopausal or menopausal, so we have to eat lots of protein, and our blood sugar is not as stable as it used to be because our estrogen levels are lower. Remember, estrogen governs glucose metabolism, right? So if your blood sugar is wonky, you need to talk to your provider about your hormones. So we actually need food. I think we all did like hardcore 3 day cleanses or fasts or something in our early 20s or mid 20s, and it's like, don't do that anymore. I get cranky. I don't eat protein. So 3 days is 3 days is a good amount of time, but you do need to eat some food. So it is a deeper detoxification. The more days you go without a heavy load on the system, obviously the freer your cells are going to be. So benefits are going to be cleansing the liver, boosting the immune system, and then reducing inflammation. And it does allow your body more time to clear stuff out. So I do like to use where did I originally got this when I was really into macrobiotics. in my 20s, and just really, really clean, light food. And so this kind of came from that, but you can use protein if you need to, just to stabilize things like fish, like white fish or tempeh. Those are pretty easy for the body to digest. So celery juice, so you do your same day one, and then, but you add meals. So you have lunch and you have dinner. So 4 ounces of animal protein, fish or tempeh. Remember, we're trying to not do beans. We don't want to do beans because they have lectins in them. We're trying to decrease the inflammation on the gut. 3 cups of steamed vegetables with 1 to 2 teaspoons of olive oil, a squeeze of lemon juice, and sea salt to taste. You can also use apple cider vinegar instead of using lemon juice. But that's nice. It's light, it's easy, it's not a whole lot of food, but it's enough to sustain you if you're going to do 3 days of this. You will feel lighter. There's not a lot of starch on there. Not a lot of starch and definitely not a lot of fat. You want to minimize the amount of fat. So the only fat that you'll have will be like the fat in the fish, and then the olive oil. And again, so you use the bile in your liver to emulsify fats. And so if your bile is busy emulsifying fats, it's not clearing waste out of the liver. Does that make sense? This one's really nice. This is basically what we use at detox retreats, but with no meat. And in addition, to help people stabilize their blood sugar, we would often use like a rice protein shake, which you can do too. So I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Any questions about a 3-day?
Just all beans, and you soak your own beans, and you grow your own beans, and soak them and cook them in your.
Yeah. I mean, you listen. You do whatever you want. I'm just sharing with you for sure. You know what I've done for sure, and I know people do well with. If you're gonna do a bean, mung bean. Mung bean is really easily digestible. It soaks really well. It actually sprouts really well, and you can make a dal out of it. And it's really nice if you don't want to do any animal protein. But remember, legumes are not protein sources. They have amino acids in them, but they are not pure protein sources. The amount of legume you have to eat to get protein is so many calories and so many carbohydrates. It's actually not a concentrated protein. So there's a difference between getting protein in the diet and eating concentrated protein. And so the reason that we want you to eat this 4 ounces of animal protein in the midday and then at night is because it stabilizes your blood sugar. Because I do not want you cleansing and detoxing and not sleeping. Because you need to sleep so that you can clear all this waste out overnight. And if your blood sugar is bouncing around at night because you don't have enough protein in your system, your cortisol is going to spike and you will not sleep. Okay? Okay, Prolon. Who's done Prolon? You, okay. People. Prolon is so intense. It's so intense. It's a 5-day fasting mimicking diet. If you're like, I cannot make food, I don't want to think about it, it comes in a kit and it has, they're not organic, but it has powdered soups and teas and bars. Yeah.
It's organic.
It's organic now.
It just came out.
When? A week ago.
Yeah.
I literally bought a kit 2 weeks ago. I have a kit on my, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna call them and return it. Okay. Thank you, Brenda. That's big.
It is, that's great.
Okay, that's a huge deal. Okay, now I'm like wholeheartedly running Prolon, okay? Prolon is incredible. It was developed by Victor Longo and his team at UCSD in the longevity department. And they were, they studied all these blue zones and they were trying to figure out what turns on autophagy. So autophagy is basically, the word means self-eating. It is the self-cleaning system of your cells. And so this happens when we go on prolonged fasts. We actually will clean house naturally. Your cells just start to eat themselves up, clean it up. But it's really hard to do that with our busy lives. And so they created this system that is fasting mimicking. So it's a reduced calorie cleanse that you still eat food on that basically upregulates these cellular detox processes. And so they said if you do Prolon 3 times, once a month for 3 months, it increases stem cell production by 800%. But you have to do it the 3 times. That's what the study showed. And so I found this super helpful for a lot of people who had sticky like triglycerides, or they couldn't get their cholesterol to move like on statins or berberine or red yeast rice. And this was the only thing that actually moved the needle for their metabolic syndrome. So it's really helpful as a clinical tool, but it also just makes you feel great. So we were using it as a clinical tool first. And then now I think, honest to God, I think it's because Gwyneth Paltrow did it. And then it became really, really popular as like just a cleanse or fast weight loss thing. But what it's amazing for is mental clarity. It is incredible. Would you say that? Did you feel that too when you did it? Yeah, yeah. I mean, you feel light, like, again, going back to purification of the body, is purification of the spirit. It's like you feel close to God, you know, you feel like you can access part of your, you know, your spiritual practice a little more readily. Yeah.
So systems like that make me nervous because I tried Optimita and I got super sick using them.
So she's saying that systems typically make
Powder.
powders and stuff. Yeah. So that is not what, so we're gonna talk about that too in this 10 to 14 day. That's not what this is. This is whole food. The only supplements you take are like a little multivitamin and algal oil. So you're getting your omega-3s, but this is only food. The whole purpose of this is to allow your body, you're not kind of like pushing the river. So a lot of these kits that not the Pro line, they have tons of supplements. They're just like pushing you to dump. This is why I'm saying you better be pooping, you better be sweating, because you're gonna start pushing stuff through the liver really fast with all these amino acids. Those kinds of things cause they will speed it up way too fast, more than you're ready for. Prolon is a lightening. It is not adding extra stuff for your body to take care of. It truly lightens it, so that your body's like, I know how to do this, and it starts speeding it up, and you feel it. You can feel it in your tissue. And so we do a lot of this body composition testing pre and post, where we're checking fat mass before and after, like 5 days. We'll see 2% loss in body fat. Some people can't even do that, we can't even do it 12 weeks or 6 months, but in 5 days, we'll see a 1 to 2% loss in percent body fat. That's crazy. So it means your cells are just eating all bad stuff up. You have to drink a lot of water and you have to rest. I used to work with this woman who, she would work out. She like cycled like 30 miles a day and she ran. I was like, how does she do that? And she's not biting people's heads off. But maybe she had plenty of hormones on board. Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. I think it's expensive. I mean, I know it's expensive. I think it's like $250 for the kit. It's 5 days and it's
$8.95. Just looked it up.
thank you. Where? Where? Okay, so if you want to get it, I think I do what?
$185 on their own site.
Great. Perfect. I mean, unless you're not buying it on Amazon.
So fine.
Okay, so if you want it, I have it on full script and we'll just make sure that you get the max. Yeah.
So they also have coaches, so that when you do it, you sign up and you have a coach. The coaches have the largest discount, so they can say that.
Yeah.
So the
Oh, yeah.
coaches have the largest.
The coaches have the
discount,
largest discount.
And it's, once you sign up, you get that discount. So I can share that with Allison and she can share it with.
We'll put it on the newsletter. So if you, yeah, make sure you sign up for the newsletter.
You can access the greatest discount that you could actually get. And we highly recommend that you actually sign up with a coach when you do it, because they walk you through every single thing.
Yeah, when your kit comes, and I guess you can do this ahead of time, register for the program, register for the groups and the check-in, because you're gonna want somebody saying on day 3, like, you got this, it's just food, I promise, you're gonna love it, 2 more days. You really do need someone saying that. And so one thing I was gonna suggest tonight is people wanna do it together. I know Raina, like we talked about doing a Whole30 group on Facebook and we failed miserably. It's a long time, 30 days to commit to communicating every day. But 5 days we could do it. So if people want to do it together, like, let's just make it known to each other and we can support each other on it. Okay. Questions? Yeah. No, it's just one kit for, yeah. But you get a discount if you buy more than one. And here's the beautiful thing about it. You don't have to cook a thing. You don't have to clean up your kitchen unless you live with other people. You have to make food for them. So it's nice and it's convenient. Yeah. No wheat, no gluten. It's a vegan meal plan. So there's no animal protein in it at all. I mean, it's not like delicious, but it's not terrible, and it comes with like these kale crackers and olive pouches, and there's algal oil, like I said, so you have some good fats in there. There's a chocolate crisp bar, for crying out loud, it's like, you're not dying, it's doable. Your question, Anna.
Yeah, so when you have like I have all my supplements that I take for that 5-day period to not take them.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm taking my adrenal support. I'm taking my cortisol manager and my GABA and stuff. I'm taking my calming stuff because I mean, I never don't work. So take the things that you know will help stabilize you, but you don't need to take all your multi-nutrients and all your antioxidants. Really, you're trying to lighten the load. Yeah, it's a great question. Okay. Yeah, the mind clearing is just so amazing. So there's so much more you can learn about autophagy, like that self-cleaning, getting into that fasting state. It's really, really amazing. And I am not a pro-on, like I don't work for them. I'm not promoting them. I just really appreciate the tool for 5-day. Okay, so now 10 to 14 days. So if you want to go a little longer, this is when you can start getting more of those nutrients in. So these kits that are available have like a shake. So if you don't want to, if 14 days is just too long to be doing like just 2 meals a day, you can do like a rice protein anti-inflammatory shake between meals. And then these kits come with all the liver nutrient support. So they come with milk thistle and glutathione and all the amino acids to help get these gears running. But as Dodie mentioned, sometimes it can crank up these systems a little too fast. So if you're going to do something like that, you actually want to make sure that you're talking to someone, like consulting with a clinician. You don't just buy a kit like that and hope for the best, because you shouldn't feel like crap on a detox. You should not feel like crap on a detox. You should feel better. It's hard and you might need rest and you might get a little headache, but you shouldn't like instigate a Hersheimer reaction. Okay. You shouldn't have all this die off. If you have a lot of die off and you're feeling like that, it means your pathways are not open. If you're getting nausea and headaches and you're just in severe brain fog, it means that you weren't pooping that great, or that you've got lymphatic congestion somewhere. So the ways you can kind of mitigate that are going to be like to take lots of Epsom salt baths, doing that dry skin brushing, doing lymphatic stuff. I mean, I'm going to say that you can do coffee. But I don't want to target on my back. They work really well, but you have to be really careful. You have to do it under supervision. Or you could just go over to the tummy temple and they will do colon hydrotherapy for you. And they also have ionizing lymphatic therapy. And it's great. They do a really good job. And the colon hydrotherapy is done by physicians. Not to say that you have to be a physician to be a colon hydrotherapist, but they are so good at it. And they'll put chlorophyll actually in the gut. It's wonderful. So that's a good thing to do. Thanks for bringing that up. It's a good thing. Tummy temples in Lacey. Yeah, it's a naturopathic clinic. Off Elm Highway. It's in Telco Loop. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But they're wonderful over there. Dr. Jamie and Dr. Janaea.
Is the Prolong kit, is it Gen 1 Prolong kit?
Yeah, the other soups are gross.
That's
So
129
help.
129.99 on Postgres for the Gen 1 Prolong kit.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
And they've got just a reset 1-day nutrition kit.
Yeah, so on Prolon on full script, so that's on the link that you have there. It's $129.95. And then you can do the 1-day reset. They do a little, like if you don't want to make celery juice and bone broth, you could just do their little 1 day, and it's a soup packet, a bar, teas. You're drinking a lot of tea. Make sure you drink a lot of tea. You'll fill up, you need to fill up on the tea. So back to the 10 and 14 day, if you're going to do something like this, if you're going to go for a month or whatever, I want you to, make sure that those pathways are open, that you're pooping every day. And that your lymphatics are moving and that you're moving. Make sure that you're walking. Don't go from like the couch, like a couch to 5K. Like, do not go from the couch to like ramping up on detox. You're not going to feel good. It's going to feel crummy, and I want you to feel good all the time. So it just so happens that like, I think 4 days ago, my friend David Lerner, who's a functional medicine practitioner at Heart of Wellness, was like, "Hey, Allie, I'm doing this group detox thing mid-April. If you know anybody who might be interested." So David is actually, I was like, "Oh my gosh, David, I'm totally talking about this on Tuesday night. I will tell everybody. If you want a guided detox with him, just come up to me and I'll text you the flyer." So he is actually facilitating this, so you can have it medically supervised for 14 days, and he's using the same detox kit that I like to use. It's a Designs for Health 14-day, it's called Paleo Cleanse. So you're getting the shakes, you're getting the supplements, and you're getting David. And if you don't know David, he's lovely. He's one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. And if you have any concerns about doing this kind of thing on your own and you just really want some guidance, it's a wonderful opportunity to work with him. And it's in a group setting, so it's, you know, it's probably really affordable. David Lerner at Heart of Wellness. And like I said, I have the flyer on my phone, so. I'll just sit here and I'll just text you. We'll do that thing with our iPhones, if you have an iPhone, we'll just like, where it goes boom, you know.
Was that in your newsletter?
I'll put that in my newsletter too. Okay. The powders are anti-inflammatory, so if you're worried about like whatever's in there, I really only promote the stuff that's super clean and anti-inflammatory. Biotics started all of this like, I don't know, 20 years ago, and they used something called NutriClear, and other companies have used similar products. So they're just really, they are still processed foods, but there's not a lot to them. They have amino acids in them so that you're still getting nutrients without eating a lot of meat. And then they have a rice protein base. And so it's nice and filling. It keeps your blood sugar stable. We do not want your blood sugar crashing on a cleanse. This is a big thing that people learned. It's like, you can't do these extended cleanses without nutrients. You have to make sure your blood sugar is stable. And then the supplements. So everyone comes with a little different thing. So if you just want to do your own supplementation, you can do things like Gaia Herbs, Daily Liver Health, Metagenics Aviclear. I put a list on here for you. And that it's gentle liver support. You don't have to do these big amino acid dumps. Like Dodie was saying, sometimes it's just too much. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 10 or 14 day. And so, like I can say after, if you have questions specifically, if you have questions about that now. Anybody have questions about the variations or what might be best for you? Yeah.
So I go to the gym 3 days a week for the DUIs. Not do that while I'm doing one of these functions.
Yeah. So she asked about exercise. So you're not going to go and like shoot for PRs on days you're doing a detox. You know, you're not going to be. I still want you to move. And I still want you to do like yoga, walking, light weights. That's totally okay because that's moving stuff through. All the muscle contraction is going to be moving your blood, and it's going to be helping move toxins out of the body. But what you don't want to do is overuse your glucose and then bottom out. So just be really thoughtful about it. Yeah, timing is really great. So if you want to start on like a Friday, starting on a Friday and doing it over the weekend instead of starting on a Monday. Monday's a terrible day to start a detox. Start on a Friday and then just rest. Give yourself that gift of resting, but you don't have to be at home in bed. Go to sound healing on Friday. That's a great way to start a detox, is go to Kristen Sound Healing. That actually really is. It gets your body into a really great state of mind and kind of quiets the noise. When is it? When's the next one?
First Friday of every month, April 4th.
First Friday of every month, where? Oh, True Self Yoga in the Salt Room. Perfect.
And why rice protein over?
It's just more easily digestible. It's simpler. So like whey is more complex because it's just more complex. Some of them do whey protein. Some people don't do rice at all, but rice is just really simple. So like in a macrobiotic detox, some of the original ones that I would use, you could actually do brown rice. But I mean, I don't think anything's perfect, you know? You just try to lighten as much as you can. Again, the protein powders, the point of them is to stabilize your blood sugar and provide you with some sort of amino acid nutrition so you keep those cycles spinning, but without overloading the digestive processes. Again, you're freeing up the digestive processes so that you can metabolize waste out of the body. Yeah, so I think we talked about this, but knowing when it's time to do something like this, I mean, yeah, like spring comes, we're like, yeah, I want to move more, and the sun's shining, and I don't need to eat heavy soups and, bone marrow. We want to eat salads and peas and things. So this is a good time to like, okay, clear the body and remind the body how to digest vegetables, raw vegetables. If you have chronic pain, the first thing I do, if anybody has pain, if they come see me, they don't even come see me for their pain, but they might mention their chronic pain, say, hey, have you ever tried the anti-inflammatory diet? I definitely have an agenda. Chronic pain responds so well to lightening the load. It is like the best pain med ever, just an anti-inflammatory diet. Getting dairy, gluten, corn, soy, and sugar out of the diet reduces chronic pain significantly. I mean, sometimes in my rheumatologic patients, when I worked in orthopedics, they couldn't get into rheumatology for 6 months. They're like, Allison, what do I do? I just give them the whole 30. I wouldn't have a lot of time to talk to them about it. Give them the whole 30, and 3 months later, they said, do I still need to go? I'm like, yes, do not give up that appointment. You are still going in to the rheumatologist. Like, but I feel great. I don't have any pain anymore. I mean, they have a diagnosis of a rheumatologic condition like RA or psoriatic arthritis, and the anti-inflammatory diet took all their pain away. And I hear these stories all the time. So lightening the load when you have chronic pain, inflammation, if you're just like, I cannot get this skin condition under control, I have been to see the dermatologist, they have done biopsies, they can't figure out what it is, do some sort of detox. And if your skin thing goes away, and you start adding stuff back in, you'll be able to identify what's actually triggering that reaction. Brain fog, gut issues, all these things are kind of a call to clean house, sweep your ashram. Okay. Again, it's important to consult with a healthcare professional, especially for prolonged or intense cleanses. Again, I don't think you need supervision to drink celery juice and bone broth for a day. I think that that's just fine. Do it together. I think even a 3-day, as long as you're eating food and you're eating lunch and dinner, I think you don't need to be supervised. Prolon, definitely use their coaches. If you've never done it before. I've never recommended Prolon publicly. I only will recommend it on a case-by-case basis with my patients. But again, they have built the program over the last 10 years. 8 years, it's been incredible. So now they have all these resources for you. Bless you. And then, especially if you know you're sensitive. If you're one of these people who like can't clear anesthesia, or you know that you, like if you get medications and you're like, you're that person who's like, if there's a side effect, I'm gonna get it. Like you've got to take care of phase 2 liver. Like you don't need to be doing these big kits that have all these supplements in them and all these nutrients. That's not for you. A food cleanse is better, and then you can kind of work up to this. But this is something you would want to do with a healthcare provider. If you know all that about yourself already, like if you know you're sensitive to meds, you don't clear anesthesia really well, go see a functional medicine person and start working on understanding your phase 2 liver detox pathways. And you can find those out by doing your genetics. Again, controversial to do 23andMe, get your raw data so that you can understand what your phase 2 liver is doing. But if you want to know, you can know. You can like pinpoint exactly your pathways where you're getting stuck.
So if I know that I do react to anesthesia, but I see David on, even so, could he take me through that 10 to 14?
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because you have someone who can answer your questions. So if you like on day 3, her question was like, if I'm sensitive and I know it, can I go ahead and get some guidance from someone like David? Absolutely. I mean, I don't know the date of it when he is having everybody start, but it's like a question to answer, like, why? Like, what's the benefit of having it medically supervised? And it's this, having somebody be like, you can say, oh, I'm feeling this. And be like, okay, well, it's probably your sulfation process. And you need to make sure that you're not eating too many cruciferous vegetables or sulfur or like garlic and onions. Yeah. He's super smart. I'm like a big picture person, you know what I mean? And then I really lean on these people who get into the nitty gritty, like David. So he's a really amazing resource. If you need a functional medicine person covered by insurance, like he's a great resource there too. He didn't even know I was gonna say all this nice stuff about him. Okay, potential side effects we talked about: headaches, fatigue, nausea, skin eruptions, and brain fog. Again, you shouldn't feel like crap on a detox. You can feel tired and be a little headachy and be like, oh, but you shouldn't feel like a toxic waste dump. You should not feel like that. If that's happening, back off, slow down, get in the bathtub. You need to sweat. Yeah.
How about like, let's see, like candida, this is cool college, so it could be different now. But like candida overgrowth and like die-off, I know that we all probably have, overgrowth in the US just because of our high sugar diet.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I hear that makes you feel like foggy.
Yeah, so her question's about like candida die-off or pathogen die-off. And so this is a really important thing. So usually you're talking about like if you go on like the anti-candida diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the thing. You don't start anything like that until you know you're pooping every day. And a lot of people with candida aren't pooping great every single day. And they're also, I can, say it, never mind. But you can tell when people have an overgrowth of candida. There are certain things. So it's like, yeah, you need to make sure that those phase 2 liver processes are open. And this is the mistake that I think has been made for decades. People will just go on these cleanses, or they go on these diets. They don't open up these detox pathways and they don't support the nervous system. And then people feel like crap on these things. And then you're chasing it with all kinds of die-off support. So you're adding more lymph support in, and you're adding all these binders, which are really helpful when you're doing big cleanses. When you're doing like really deep work, we're not talking about that. We're talking about lightening the load, on a periodic basis. We're not talking about going and finding your parasites and getting on like a 90-day or 6-month parasite protocol, you know? I mean, that is when people get really hurt, when you're doing like really deep work. But it really is just about making sure that those pathways are open. And doing it with someone like David, you know, or another practitioner in town, like the women at the Tummy Temple, the practitioners there, they will know how to troubleshoot with you. But yeah, when you're killing off bugs, they don't want to go. And so that's when you bring things on like binders, like charcoal or certain clays that can help grab that stuff that the cells are releasing and usher them out of the body. But again, it's like an upstream thing. If you're just doing binders, but you're not making sure that the liver is open and you're not sweating and your lymph isn't moving, your immune system is going to freak out. Make sure you drink lots of water. That's the deal. So much water, so much water, so much water, so much water. You need to flush. And again, kidneys are a huge part of the detoxification process. Okay, I put some products down here that are great. Like you don't have to go on a detox to use these things. Gaia Herbs Daily Liver Health. I recommend this all the time. If anyone's on like an antifungal, like diflucan, I immediately put them on Daily Liver Health. You just take this at night. Like just for life. If you know that you're like, yeah, I get side effects from medications, or, you know, I just know this about myself. I just move things a little more slowly. Like, let's speed it up. A little bit of herbs. The Gaia Herbs one is really nice because it's encapsulated herbal tinctures. So it's things like milk thistle and shijandra. I think artichoke leaf. I love all that stuff. And then you can use digestive bitters too, just to get the bile moving. And then just doing more water with lemon. So get just little gentle daily things, always. Biotics beta TCP helps to thin the bile. It's got pancrelipase in it, so it actually helps to metabolize fats too. So, I mean, we could do a whole class. We just talk about bile for like a whole day. If you have a history of gallstones, if you get nauseated after eating fats, any right upper quadrant pain, or you get headaches, like right here, and then at the base of the neck down here, probably have a liver gallbladder congestion issue. So a little bit of beta TCP with meals, especially fatty meals, can actually really, it's gentle, it's food-based, it's from beets. It helps to just move things along. I love that product. It's so simple, it's so inexpensive. And then Quicksilver liver sauce, or you can do the push catch system. If you're like, I'm not doing this, I'm not drinking celery juice, I'm not buying powders and potions and stuff, you could do Quicksilver liver sauce that helps to thin the bile. It's a bitter liquid with phosphatidylcholine, which really helps to make healthy bile. It's super, super bitter, and it can get kind of expensive, but you can just, it comes in a kit called Push Catch. So this is not food at all. This is just the liver sauce, and then a binder. So you're pushing stuff out, and then you're catching it with the binder. And this I would also do under the supervision of somebody. But the liver sauce you can do all alone. Magnesium glycinate, just taking your magnesium, you're all probably on magnesium. So just taking your magnesium every single day is helping with phase 2 liver detoxification and pooping and sleeping and mood and muscles. Everybody's on magnesium, right? Yeah.
Glycinate, not citrate.
Right, so citrate's great for moving the bowels. So if you really are stuck, it's great. That's what we use in like conventional medicine. Glycinate is used readily by the mitochondria, and it doesn't have that same like whooshing osmotic effect, but it's osmotic meaning bringing water into the bowel, but it does help move the bowels. It's just really, it's easily used by the body. There are other kinds like 3-8 is really great for the brain. It gets across the blood-brain barrier really well. So if you have a lot of excitation, like a lot of nervousness, that's good for that. Magnesium malate is really good for muscle recovery. But for getting the bowels moving and for improving mitochondrial health, we use a lot of magnesium glycinate. And then, so this is something I use. I don't do it every day. I probably do it like 3 days a week, but the Pure Encapsulations Daily Detox Packet. So it's got ox bile support. It's got artichoke leaf. It's got some of those amino acids, and I like it because it's just in a packet. And so, like I said, maybe 2 to 3 nights a week, I just take off a little packet, take all the pills, and just go to bed. Stinks. It's got the ox bile is really strong smelling. So when you open it, it's like, it's not bad. Like the packet's not bad. It's just ox bile. Okay, and just remember, detoxing is not just about eliminating toxins. It really is about restoring vitality and promoting long-term health. I mean, this is how we prevent cancer, you guys. This is, if we can minimize our oxidative stress, we're not gonna like confuse the system. We get cancer and autoimmune conditions when the system gets totally overloaded with chronic stress, with toxic exposure. And then all of a sudden the surveillance systems just go awry. That's what's happening. And there's a genetic component to it for sure, because your genetics are predisposing you to the way that your body biotransforms toxins and gets them out of the body. I don't know if that was clear. Your genetic predisposition that is going to contribute to your risk of cancer has to do with the way that you clear waste out of the body. Probably more than anything. Please don't quote me on this kind of stuff because I'm not an oncologist. But we definitely know that people respond really well when we lighten up the burden on the system. And again, it's not just food, it's emotions. Like the chronic anger and bitterness and resentment, stuff we hang on to, and we just cannot let go of. That is informing our nervous systems. So we talk a lot, I just saw something great about like, well, your body's not holding trauma in places. What it's doing, because we say that a lot, body keeps a score, the body holds holding trauma. Your brain is actually remembering the emotion. Your brain is remembering the experience, and it's creating this hypervigilant state that just keeps you wired for distress. And so again, remember, when you're in sympathetic dominance, fight, flight, you actually can't clean up house as well. You can't digest as well. Digestion is like the core of the whole detoxification process, which is why when we detox, we don't eat a bunch of crap food. So the more you can let go, empty out, really, ceremony, prayer, let go of what doesn't serve you, mend those relationships. If you can't mend them with the people, mend it on your own, forgive, get into your heart as much as possible. I mean, that is the truth. And I know I love talking about this detox stuff, but I really, really love talking about love. And that is, if the whole goal of like the supreme, like the tantamount, like if the whole thing is to get our nervous systems calm, to feel peace and joy in our bodies, then the way that we do that is by loving ourselves and loving each other and really like letting shit go, like really not holding on to it. During this whole Venus in retrograde thing, I know my girlfriends, like we're all just really excited about it. That's been awesome. It's like, okay, Venus in retrograde is gonna totally just like tell you to let go of everything that doesn't serve you anymore. Whatever help I can get to help me let go of the things that no longer serve me, I'm gonna take it. So, but our big thing right now is like letting it go and setting it down and never turning around and grab it again. I mean, this is the thing. This is what keeps us moving forward. We talk about vitality equals power minus obstruction. Like we have all the power, but like what's in the way? And it's these things that we just keep reaching around and grabbing and taking with us. Like put it down. Put it down. Do not carry it into the future version of you, to the present version of you. And then that's kind of like this detox process too, is like get rid of it. And he said, like what kind of transition do you do to come back to it? Like don't ever pick up, French fries and seed oils ever again. I mean, unless you're on vacation and your body can handle it, this kind of thing. But you know what I mean? Like we don't go backward because we need you in your power and your potency to fix this place. Okay. I'm off my high horse. Okay. So let's go to the board. Before we move on, any questions about detoxes and cleanses and things we just talked about? Okay. Yeah. Would you bring it up? Yeah. It's so funny. I forget that every time. Okay, so we had lots of tick marks on weight loss. So does anybody have specific questions about weight loss besides Ozempic? We can talk about. Okay, so weight loss is always gonna, thank you so much.
You want it here?
Yeah, that's great. So weight loss is always gonna require sacrifice. If you want to lose it, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. If you're perimenopausal or menopausal, you may very well, I mean, I hear this all the time, I'm doing the same thing I've always done and I'm putting weight on. And your hormones play a huge role in that. So weight loss is gonna be really dependent on your cortisol regulation and your blood sugar regulation. One, we wanna decrease inflammation and we wanna lighten the load on the system. But if you wanna burn fat off the body, you have to stabilize your blood sugar by eating protein regularly throughout the day and making sure that you are putting on muscle and burning fat. If you are skipping meals, because this is what we were taught in the 1980s with dexatrim and all that stuff, if you're skipping meals to lose weight, your blood sugar will drop, your cortisol will go up, and then you will store fat. You will do the very opposite of what you want to do. Do not skip meals if you want to lose weight. You have to imagine that you're like an athlete You know, you can't sacrifice nutrition and expect to build metabolism. It's building, it's churning, it's not slowing things down. When you starve, everything goes, it's gonna slow down, you're gonna store fat, and your metabolism just shuts down. So you give it the thing and you rev it up. You give it the
So
protein.
no intermittent fasting.
So yeah, this question comes up a lot, no intermittent fasting. You can totally do intermittent fasting, because when you do intermittent fasting, you get that autophagy, you get that cell cleaning. But you can only do intermittent fasting if your blood sugar is stable. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So you have to train your system how to stabilize by eating regularly throughout the day. You don't go from, you know, pain and weight gain and sedentary existence to intermittent fasting. Some people are like, oh, I did it and it was great. That works for some people. In my experience, you can't jump from this to this. You have to stabilize your blood sugar first, eating regular meals throughout the day, and then you start shrinking your feeding window. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can, instead of fasting, I really like the term restricted feeding window. It's a little clearer, it's a little more accurate. So you can still eat throughout the day, but maybe you only eat between 10 and 6. And then some people will get it even shorter, and you can get fat adapted. So if you're doing like a keto diet, which honestly, I think we need carbs. You know, we need sweet potatoes, blueberries, and I cannot live without fresh seasonal fruit. So I mean, we're living, right? Like, we're not gonna stress out about these things. But I think it's a great way to lose weight because it does turn on that cell cleaning system. Do you have a question about that too?
Oh, no, it's just the feast or the famine thing that happens in the body. It's like if it's gone through a famine, it's like gonna hold on to that. It's no matter what it is.
That's right.
And it really appreciates knowing what to expect. And so that's the way that I think about it. I've been doing long-term detoxes for like 18 years. So I definitely learned a thing or two about metabolism harming.
Yeah.
Because like you really want to be careful with that, especially as a woman with a womb. Like whether you're using it or not, or it's just like our bodies are like there to hang on to resources to protect us in the case we were to make a baby. I think that's
Yeah,
how I-
no, yeah, I know. I know that a lot of you didn't hear what she was saying, but she's saying feast or famine, and your body's going to respond. It's going to hang on if you are in this famine mode. And you said it differently, but what I say is the body loves predictability. We are on rhythms. I mean, we are animals. We're going with the sun and the moon, and like you all felt it, right? The sun came out, and we were like compelled to go be out. And I'm very sorry I kept you inside tonight. Thank you very much. I didn't even say thank you. Thank you so much for coming. It's really fun for me to see all your beautiful faces and experience all of your hearts. But the body loves predictability. So if you are putting it in stress, what did you call it? Metabolic, what'd you say? Metabolic harm, metabolic harm. If you're putting it in metabolic harm, now it's in a stage where it has to compensate, and it's got to recover from that. And so we don't want this. Yeah, we don't want big wide swinging. We want eating protein regularly throughout the day, stable blood sugar so that your cortisol's not bouncing up and then causing your blood sugar to bottom out. Because it's this dance between cortisol, insulin, and glucose. Definitely the hormones help. Your estrogen absolutely helps. Your estrogen makes you more efficient at metabolizing glucose. That's one of its main jobs. But even if you're on HRT, you have to stabilize your blood glucose. So I love berberine for this. It kind of it supports that whole process of stabilizing your blood glucose levels and making your mitochondria really efficient. So if you need a little help, berberine is really helpful. Making sure you're on some sort of adrenal support so that you're not spiking that cortisol all the time. If you're a vegetarian and it's just not working for you anymore, like let's talk, because you might want to think about doing fish or something. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of your ethics or your spirituality, but it's just harder in perimenopause and in menopause to stabilize your blood glucose levels if you are dependent on legumes and plants for your protein source. Yeah.
Can you drink your protein? Are you okay with protein shake? Because we are vegetarian.
Yeah, so again, plant-based protein, the amount of calories it requires to get enough protein is just, it usually exceeds what we are efficiently able to use. It's just, there's a leucine threshold, so that's an amino acid that's in protein that you have to hit to make protein synthesis happen, to govern all those processes. And it's just not, plant protein just doesn't hit it. Not in the same way. And so, but you got to look at your cardiovascular risk factors. Like, what's all this for? The reason we want weight off the body is because we don't want the fat mass, which is inflammatory, which increases your risk of cardiovascular disease. It's not necessarily because we want to fit our genes. There are reasons we want to lose fat. It's because we want to live to be 120. That's my number. I don't know what your number is, but 120. So we know visceral fat decreases your longevity. So if your markers are good, you know, then we don't worry about it. If you've got a little extra fat mass, more than you want, because you're taking more calories in, but it's anti-inflammatory and your lipids look good, we don't stress about it, you know? Okay.
Gluten-free crackers and
Oh, gluten-free crackers and oat milk. Okay. So, people, and I look at a lot of diaries, food diaries, people are like, I'm doing everything right. And, they're like, but I'm not, you know, I'm keep gaining weight. And I'm like, well, there's so many things. There's the hormones and there's blood sugar and there's cortisol and there's insulin and there's the friggin' gluten-free crackers. And so you could be eating all your good, you know, all your good nutritious meals. I know, right? It was sad. Like you're doing your protein and you're like spending all this money on your supplements, but you're eating this highly processed, high glycemic starch with 3 meals a day. So you're doing like gluten-free oatmeal and you're doing gluten-free crackers with lunch just on the side. And then you're doing like a gluten-free tortilla that you're making, with which you're like, you know, putting your sweet salmon and your sweet potato and your kale in. And you have this extra thing. It's the extra thing. It spikes your blood sugar levels. It is highly processed. Most of them have gums in them that cause damage to the intestinal wall. And so it's like totally obstructing all this, like this process for you. So you have to kind of look at the thing that you're doing all the time. It's not like you can't have a gluten-free cracker every now and then. Like, this is not what I'm saying, you know, but it's usually the thing that you're doing all the time or that's come into your routine every single day that you need to look at, maybe taking out. And so oat milk is the same thing. Oat milk's, oh, it's so processed. I know people like love it and they like, I am allergic to oats and so I've never actually enjoyed it. So I just steer clear of it, but, it causes gas and bloating. It's got phytates in it. So phytates are phytic acid. That's what protects the grain from breaking down. So unless you're soaking your own, you can make your own oat milk if you are fine with oats. But if you're buying the processed stuff, they're not soaking that stuff. They're typically not gluten-free or organic oats. So that means they're covered in glyphosate. The gums cause intestinal permeability. So you're not absorbing your nutrients. This is why I'm calling it the Buzzkill series. It's like, I'm just gonna take it right down.
oat milk or hemp milk.
Yeah, if you're making your own hemp milk or your own oat milk or pumpkin seed milk, like we got on that pumpkin seed milk kick for a while, it was delicious. You just put like pumpkin seeds and a date and a little bit of sea salt in the blender. Yeah.
1 cup of product, 4 cups of liquid.
Yeah, thank you, Kiki. 1 cup of seeds, 4 cups of water, 1 to 2 dates and a pinch of sea salt. The only problem is it goes really fast. There's no, I mean, I won't drink it after 3 to 4 days. Yeah, but I make hemp milk and it's easy. Put it in my little cup of coffee and then I have my celery juice. Or if you do fine with dairy, just do the OG regenerative A2 full cream. Put that in there. That's better for you than highly processed oat milk. But again, if you have biliary issues, any sort of liver issue, phase 2, don't be doing all that fat, you know. Be darned if we do, darned if we don't. But we're all individual. And so and this is where intuitive eating comes in. Just listen to your body. And that's what's nice about a reset. If you reset the system, then you can start adding things back in and really pay attention. And that clarity of mind that you get after a reset really helps you pay attention. Like your chakras are all lined up, really, like you will be able to hear it. You'll be able to hear the subtlety and you'll be able to make that connection because things are a little more still in here, especially after 5 days. Anything else about weight loss? Oh, and you have to lift heavy stuff. Like, please, you'll lose muscle mass if you lose weight and you don't lift heavy stuff. I don't care how you do it, small groups, in the gym, whatever you want to do, but you gotta lift. We have to put on muscle 2 days a week. Remember, that's all it takes for us to be, if we're still efficient. 2 days a week, get the muscle on for weight loss, and you'll be amazed. When you have more muscle, it begets like all these positive food choices too. You eat better when you're lifting weights. It's crazy. It's like it was designed that way. Yeah. What did you have a question? Oh, yeah.
Where are you getting your organic bones now for okra?
Colvin Ranch has them at the co-op. I get a cow share, so I get the bones with that. Yeah, Colvin Ranch. I mean, you go to Ralph's and they've got them too. Just ask them. I don't think they put them out, but you can just ask them for their bones.
Okay.
Delmonico's, yeah, that's great. Yeah, lots of resources. HRT. Yes, do it. HRT is, I'm just gonna say a little spiel about it. So, if you do it right, it's safe and it's effective. So you can start doing it in perimenopause, periods start to get really wonky, or your periods start to get really light, you start having hot flashes. You don't have to be in menopause to have hot flashes. So if you start to have hot flashes and you notice that all of a sudden, you go to get your labs done, you go to get your lipids done, and your LDL cholesterol's up, and it's never been up before, and oh my God, my insulin's up. Hopefully someone's checking in insulin. And you're like, what is going on? It's usually the drop in the estrogen, and that can happen in your early 40s. So we say that the first marker to check for is LDLP. And so if you can start to catch it early, you can start adding this estrogen. Why do we even want HRT? We want it because, first of all, we want to feel ourselves. We're not slowing down. Remember, if we were slowing down and we didn't have chronic stress, we wouldn't be blowing through our estrogen and our progesterone and our DHEA and our testosterone in midlife. But we don't slow down because we're all achievers and we want to do all the things. We want to go all the places, which is great. And thank God for estrogen patches. But your estrogen, all those levels will start to tank as you continue to demand as much as you did from your body, because our ovaries aren't continuing to make it. Your adrenal glands make it. But if your adrenal glands are making DHEA and cortisol to keep you going, they're not going to prioritize production of estrogen and progesterone. So we can supplement with it. You do not have to have testing to get HRT. It's a symptom-based diagnosis. Perimenopause and menopause are symptom-based diagnosis. You can do an FSH to confirm menopause if you haven't had a period for a year, but you can get HRT, and you should be able to get HRT based on symptoms alone. So if your periods are irregular, if you start to have mood changes, depression, muscle loss, LDL cholesterol rising, skin issues, you can just say, I'm just not feeling like myself anymore. And if someone offers you an antidepressant, which is not wrong, but it's not the best option, just say, is there something else? And what about HRT? And start the dialogue. And you can email me and be like, Allison, am I busy? So you don't sound like that in my mind. Transdermal estradiol patches are the safest thing to do. They're the easiest to monitor, and they're often covered by your insurance. Transdermal estrogen does not go through the liver in the same way that the oral estrogen does, so it doesn't increase your risk of blood clots and stroke. It's really well absorbed by the body. It's an amazing delivery system. Nothing is perfect, so there is an adhesive in there, and there's like a little bit of iodine, so if you have an iodine sensitivity, it may cause a little bit of itching. But there are lots of different kinds of patches, and there's some generic versions too. But it ranges anywhere from 0.0125 up to 1.0 milligrams per 24 hours. And so if you're in perimenopause, you would start lower. If you're in menopause, you would want to start on one of the higher doses. Remember, estrogen protects your bones, your brain, and your blood vessels and your heart. So we need that estrogen. Men need estrogen too. Progesterone, we only do body identical progesterone. We do not recommend any synthetic progesterone. That's what got us into this HRT nightmare, people thinking that it was a big problem. The Provera that was used, or the synthetic progestins that were used in the Women's Health Initiative, did actually increase your risk of breast cancer. It was only minimal, but it was enough to freak everyone out. And so that's where that whole misunderstanding came from. We only use body identical progesterone. It's something your body already makes. And so you take oral progesterone that helps you get to sleep, chills you out. We call it nature's Valium. So if you are noticing that your fuse is a little shorter and you're not on progesterone, you might want to talk to somebody about getting on some progesterone.
Is it best taken at night?
Yeah, it makes you drowsy. Yeah. Like I said, nature's Valium, it's got a little bit of a sedating quality because it upregulates your GABA receptors. GABA is that chill out neurotransmitter. It's very inhibitory, calms you down. And so progesterone promotes that. So it helps you calm the brain before you go to sleep. Yeah, Diane? Yeah, so this is really common practice. GYNs will say, you don't have a uterus, you don't need to take progesterone. And the reason that they say that is because former practice was, if you take estrogen, it can promote the growth of your endometrial lining. Okay, so the endometrium is the inside of your uterus. You got your uterus here. Inside that endometrium can thicken when you take unopposed estrogen. And so you take estrogen, the endometrium grows, you take progesterone, and it keeps it in check. It keeps that endometrium there. So what they say is, if you don't have a uterus, you don't need progesterone because there's no You're not gonna grow any uterine lining. Progesterone still counters estrogen production in the, or, action in the body, but we still need progesterone. We are so stressed out as a culture. It is still, like, we're still not producing it. So I never take women off progesterone if they've had a hysterectomy. Great, yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, if we have a thyroid deficiency, we take thyroid hormone. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's all about thyroid. If your thyroid's a little low, oh, you're getting on levothyroxine. Like, if your estrogen's a little low, you should be getting on estrogen, you know? You should be getting on progesterone. Like, why are you not getting on hormones? You deserve your hormones if you want them. Some women are more sensitive than others. So it's not for everybody, and I don't need everybody to be on them. But if you want them, you deserve to have a conscious, thoughtful, and educated conversation with your provider about getting on HRT.
So how easily is that detected that you're deficient? Because I feel like, you get the hormonal balance test, and for me, for example, I got it twice and it was wonderful, but you can't really know what your normal is, right? If you haven't been tested.
Well, so the, so,
20s or 30s or
oh,
something, right?
I don't think I'm following your question directly. Can you give me a little more?
So I from what I learned, you don't really know what your hormonal needs
Level of
or
needs.
your normal is. If you're testing in the 50s, if you don't know what it really was in the 30s.
Oh, right. Yeah, and we didn't do a good job of that, right? We didn't do a good job of cycle mapping for people. We didn't do, yeah, we haven't done a good job of educating ourselves and women about their own bodies in their 20s and 30s. Yeah.
So a lot of those hormonal tests are coming back normal, but you don't know what the person's normal was, right?
Yeah. So you're talking about serum testing, blood testing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't do, I shouldn't say I don't do it. It's not my practice. Oh, we gotta wrap up. It's not my practice to test estradiol and, in perimenopause, because those levels, we call it the zone of chaos. Those estrogen levels fluctuate wildly in perimenopause. And so they're really hard to identify. This is why we go based on symptoms. Testosterone, we check. We do not want to give anybody testosterone who's already got an existing high testosterone. That just, it's not gonna feel good in your body. If you have symptoms of low testosterone, I'm readily prescribing testosterone for women, but I always check it too. You can do urine metabolite testing for hormones, like a Dutch test, or Vibrant Wellness has a urine metabolite hormone test that it'll check your levels, but what we really care about is you clearing it out of your body efficiently, which goes back into the hormone detoxification. You have to free up phase 2 so that you can break down estrogen and progesterone really efficiently. But testing in perimenopause is not that helpful, because yeah, you don't know what it looked like before. It's like this random number, but you can, there are ways to track it. So it's not perfect. I mean, the fact that we are having this conversation right now and it's like not super clear and direct means that we have not done near enough research on this for women. Detox, stress, adrenal support, cortisol manager, don't sweat the small stuff, play. The adrenal support stuff is really, really important for stress. Do the heart work, go do your trauma work, get into EMDR, plant medicine, whatever floats your boat, but you gotta open your heart. You gotta open your heart, empty out, get really real about your stuff. If you wanna manage your stress, you have to access the truth of your heart. Empty, empty, empty. Forgive, let them, quit blaming everybody, quit taking the victim role. I'm not saying you are, but just, quit passing off responsibility to other people for your own suffering, right? Like, claim it, do it, love your little inner child as much as you possibly can. I mean, again, I think we talked about this, right? Last time I was like, has anybody healed their inner child yet? And crickets, just kidding, you all laughed. But this is the work that we have to do. This is the work we have to do to actually regulate the nervous system. So when we're talking about chronic stress, we use the supplements and the plants and the mindfulness and the sound healing and the yoga and the exercise to manage it. But to really get to the root cause of nervous system dysregulation, thank you so much. To get to the root cause of the nervous system dysregulation, you have to go in and be one with your inner child. You have to embody her, love her, tend to her, integrate her, so that you can just be in your queen power forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Okay. Amen. Yeah. Okay. Right. Love you all so much. Thank you for coming. If you want David's stuff, come up and I'll text you.
And add your email to the sign up list if you're not on it yet.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, add the email, and then I will add David's stuff on the email.
Yeah.
That's probably better than hanging out up here. And I think there's a little more chocolate if you want to take a little piece before you go home. And we're back on April 28th, 8th. It's the last Tuesday in April. Good night, all.
Night, thank you.
April 28th.
April 28th.
Bye, Stephanie. Love you.
Anyways.
Yeah, she really was last time here.
Love you too. I was walking the whole time
Oh, good.
because I needed a walk.
Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting, okay?
All right, bye bye.
Bye.